But I think when you make a film in which a lot of people say this is the worst picture ever made in history, and a lot of people say this is the greatest film ever made in history, that very divide is interesting and very significant, because it means that it has offended certain sensibilities, and yet it has also answered other sensibilities, which is what art's supposed to do.
But did you mean to offend some sensibilities?
Oh, I knew that. I mean, because this is the so-called opinion is the worst film ever made, also happened with Apocalypse Now. We had the same divide, as you know. That picture was not greeted with applause, and in fact only gained an audience over a slow period of time, little by little, and to this day. So there's only one critic really for all art, which is the test of time. People are not buying French Academy paintings; they're buying Matisse, and they're buying Monet, and they're buying whomever, Picasso. So the art that is breaking the rules is usually what passes the test of time.
In Megalopolis, the people as a political force is almost, they're almost extras in the movie. You tell a fable, you show us a fable about the elites, the people that decide everyone else's fate. Do you have any reaction from the upper echelons of American society?
Well, I don't know. I wanted to show the people. You see them and those people following Claudio, because they say, well, this megalopolis is taking away our homes, is taking our electricity. And I tried to humanize them by always giving them children, because people are more accepting of a crowd of indigenous people if they have their children with them. But it's true that it's the characters who are in, just as it was true in Rome. Everything in this movie really happened, either in New York or in 60 AD in Rome. It really happened either in Rome or in New York or somewhere else that I saw. So it's really not fiction at all. It's a synthesis of history of our human world.
You said in your masterclass in São Paulo that a scene of Megalopolis was inspired by City of God.
Yes.
Of Fernando Meirelles. Which sequence is that?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to say, because it's a terrible moment and one that shocks the people. But it has to do with an attempted killing of. I shouldn't say attempted killing, because I'm giving away the story. But it was something I saw that was very moving in City of God, and I can never get out of my head, and that inspired a certain sequence in Megalopolis.
Escolhe um aí, mata aí. Os dois, filha. Bora, mata logo, amigo. Bora, filha, não tô o dia inteiro não, meu irmão. Bora, amigo. Vai, filha, escolhe logo, mata um cara aí, brother. Bora, filha, não tô o dia inteiro não, rapaz.
But art is supposed to do that. Art, we Beethoven, Mozart, and Haydn all lived in the same time. They influenced each other.
They quoted each other.
Yes,
well, yeah.
And the great German poet Goethe said, when he sees other work, he only cares about what he can take and make use of. And I feel that too, that art belongs to everyone, and the achievements that are done by the greats, such as Mozart and Haydn, are to be used by all artists, and because once it's used by the new artists, especially the young artists, it's unrecognizable. It becomes theirs, because every artist gives their unique voice to it, and the human process is a glorious one, in which we are working together, and people are always asking me who is the greatest filmmaker or the greatest 5 movies. This idea of the greatest 5 movies is absurd. Ask me the greatest 5,000 movies. That art is not sports. There's not a winner and a loser. I mean, all these systems that the companies use to control the movie going, how many stars does it have? How many stars does the Parthenon have? How many stars does the Taj Mahal have? Art is not sports. Everything in the film is true. Is actually happening. And what is really important is a line from the movie, which is we're in need of a great debate about the future, and we want everyone in the world to take part in that debate, and we want no questions to be left out. We have to do that now. That is absolutely essential. We have to talk about the future, or there won't be one.
We're in need of a great debate about the future.
But the past is only 10,000 years. We have been, our species, our family of geniuses are 300,000 years old. 10,000 years is just written history. That's too short a time to judge what's going to happen. We lived in other societies. They don't know because there's no history, but we may have lived in societies far more wonderful than what we live in now. Many great thinkers have said the human race is condemned by civilization. This time we're living in now, what's going on now, is not the best time for our family. It might have been 50,000 years ago. It might have been a matriarchy in which, in matriarchies, the women didn't give orders. In matriarchies, women and men worked together, shoulder to shoulder, to make the community more happy, more fulfilled. Women are good leaders because they're life givers. You know, I'm fascinated with Brazil because Brazil is a very interesting country, and I don't know a lot about it, but I know there was an emperor who is Pedro II, and he went to America once to look at a new phenomenon, which was actually what's called the Corliss steam engine. This is a giant steam engine that he saw. That's the size of 10 of these theaters that powered very efficiently all these machines. And Paulo II says, very interesting, but I can't help but wonder what the Americans are going to do with this stuff.
And in this trip to the States, he used the telephone for the first time with Graham Bell.
He was an interesting person.
He thought that capitalism was just a fashion.
Well, I think it is. Even if you know economics, John Maynard Keynes said that he felt that in 100 years this ridiculous growth has to stop, and he said that 100 years ago. This idea of constant growth and then marketing to sell products to people they don't need and can't afford is absurd.
It's crazy.
Well, again, I say again, we are in need of a debate about the future, and we want everyone in the world to take part of it because they have to be able to ask any question. Why is $8 trillion spent every year on advertising trying to sell a little bit of happiness to people? Why are people not happy? Are they kept unhappy deliberately because it's easier to sell to unhappy people?
I second that.